Chris, great to see you, and I'm really enjoying VMware Explore. I'm a bit of a sovereignty and a privacy nut, and I've worked a lot with a lot of really sensitive government workloads in the UK, from people's financial records at the tax authority to criminal records in the court systems to a lot of the genomics and the health records. I'm really interested in the concept of private AI. Everyone talks about AI and they automatically assume that we're talking about ChatGPT or OpenAI. Tell me a little about private AI and why it's important to take this approach when you're dealing with particularly sensitive or personal data sets.
Organizations, they felt that if I want to get advantage of AI, I have to have thousands of GPUs. It's just not attainable to do myself. I need to just leverage a cloud, and I need to be able to move my data to this cloud to take advantage of the benefits of AI. And fundamentally, that's just not true. With private AI, what we were looking to do is meet the privacy and compliance needs of an organization by moving the AI model and AI compute to wherever the organization prefers to run that AI service. And for a lot of organizations, they don't want to give up control of their data. They have specific ways they want to store their data. They protect it. They have ways that they audit the data. There's a lot of risk, and a lot of legal teams have a lot of concerns about just saying, well, let's just move the data to this external service. And then how do I extract it? How do I get it back out if something else comes along? But I think more importantly, the way we're approaching private AI is to say, invest in a platform that gives you optionality. So you can connect to your local data services, you can bring models to your data, and as a new model comes along that looks really compelling in the future, you can just onboard it via software. I think that's one other thing. If I go back to what I mentioned about you need thousands of GPUs, we have AI use cases where we're running inferencing on CPUs. We have AI use cases where we've tuned a model on 2 GPUs. You don't need all these resources to get a lot of benefit from AI if you architect right and you take the right approach.
So you could be a tax authority that's holding an enormous amount of really sensitive financial data, or you could be a health service with an enormous amount of equally sensitive personal data about people's health. And you can do really advanced AI analysis of all of that and actually try and get results without actually necessarily exposing all that sensitive information to some of the common AI platforms that everyone knows about.
100%, yeah.
And obviously, there's a lot of really sensitive data within these areas, and we want to be really compliant in our use of this. It must be front and center for a lot of customers you're talking about, where they've got a lot of really sensitive information of their own with companies for whom this whole AI concept is really of interest to them.
It is blown up. I mean, it's huge because like VMware, this started for us because we were looking at AI-assisted code development. And the notion that we would have to move our source code, it defines who we are as a business, to somebody else's cloud to gain access to the service, that was a non-starter for us. We had to maintain control of our code repos, right? It's who we are. We're responsible for it. Our CEO is responsible for it. It's PII type of data. Pick an industry. They all have these concerns. So the idea that I can localize the AI is huge for them. But again, the ability to have choice as well has been something that's been equally important.
You mentioned the number of GPUs or CPUs. Obviously, these kind of models need a fair amount of horsepower, and you've made some really interesting announcements previously with NVIDIA, but more recently with Intel, and you're doing a lot with ARM and other platforms. Tell me a little bit about how you're ensuring through these agreements that you're providing the horsepower here. And also, I'm really interested in the fact that you're going beyond the GPU and looking at the CPU as well.
So if I start with the Intel partnership, we announced support for Intel, or VMware Private AI with Intel. That includes running AI workloads on their 4th generation Xeon processors, their Max series GPUs as well, and their software stack. So the Intel software stack is based on open source One API, which has been donated to the Linux Foundation. And they're trying to take an industry neutral way to turn on hardware accelerators, which means for a software developer or a data scientist, I can write an application once, I can then run that on any accelerator without having to re-platform the application. So there's a lot of value there. We announced with IBM running Watson X on premises because IBM, while Watson X is a successful cloud AI service, they have a lot of use cases where the customers want to maintain that privacy and control. They have compliance mandates around their data. So they want to be able to bring that AI service to the data as well. So those were a couple of the announcements this week, but I mean, our ecosystem of partners now is in the dozens, and there's a strong amount of industry momentum behind what we're doing.
And we've got an enormous number of partners here at the event, and I've been really impressed by the enthusiasm and the commitment that a lot of them have. And I look forward to seeing more and hearing more as we move on from this event to all of your advances in the future. Thank you very much.
So much more to come. Thanks so much.